Unfortunately, tonight, the Lakers will go down to another defeat. That'll be 3 in a row.
You know, we lost 2 of our star players at this point in time, man. We're not looking at it as one of those things where we're just throwing in the season or where we're not looking to compete now. We're looking to still play the right way, play as hard as we can, and we're still looking to come out with wins, you know, and just hold it down while these guys, recover and come back.
Everybody who's in this locker room, you know, got to step up, and that's what we need to do.
One, we're undersized right now. You know, we have bodies out. Just got to strap it up and go.
Oh, we're staying positive. You know, we've got a great belief in this group. You know, even with AD and Bron out there, we can win games during this stretch, and that there's going to be a silver lining to it at the end of it. You know, we just got to execute better and collect as many wins along the way as we can. But our group's going to remain positive.
Welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers. I'm Chris McGee. Joining me is Laker insider. He's Mike Bresnahan from the LA Times. Been covering this league and this team for a long time. He's Brad Turner. We're going to keep it positive on this show as well. Hey, BT, do you have anything to say to Brez to start the show off?
You mean Francis?
Yes.
Well, I do know this. Francis' so-called college basketball team is just like my basketball team. They're out of an NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I believe we actually won a game, unlike your team.
Yeah, by the way, smashed North Carolina.
Yeah, poor James. And by the way, I'm glad you brought up BT covering the Lakers. You didn't know he covered them when they were in Minneapolis. That's how long he's been on the beat.
That's how long he's been on the beat. The shots are fired across the bow, and I like it. By the way, BT, you and my brother... Yes. My brother, you guys have a nice bond because you both went to San Diego State. You've met him before. He's a huge Aztec fan. He's pretty devastated about that first-round exit. Were you bummed?
Yeah. Tell your brother to get over it, man.
Really?
Hey, it's baseball season now. No, it's baseball season for the Aztecs.
You know what? You just
spring football. Let's
just not a winner,
baby.
Brez. The program's just not. They're not about winning, Brez. He's already over it.
Next, he's going to say they're a football school, and then we'll all start cracking up.
All right, let's get on with the show.
Badminton, football.
BT's not competitive. That's not a big deal. All right, Tuesday, the Lakers dropped their 3rd straight game to the Pelicans for LeBron James' injury. The Lakers had won 4 straight after the All-Star break without their 2 top stars. Purple and gold are in the midst of their biggest challenge yet. After the loss in New Orleans, the Lakers spoke about the obstacle they're trying to overcome.
You know, we've had a lot of emphasis on the offensive side of the ball the last couple of days since losing LeBron. And with Anthony being out, and you know, I thought we had some growth, some real growth. You know, some real positives about what we did offensively. You know, but with all the emphasis on the offensive end and you know, seeing that type of growth, we didn't play well enough defensively. You know, period. Particularly the 3rd quarter. You know, so we're going to miss guys like that, like Bron and AD on both sides of the ball, and you know, getting us organized offensively is really probably my top priority right now. And you know, I know we can tighten the screws defensively, but we got to be better on that end.
Bron is a big part of this team, this organization. You know, and by him going down, you know, that's a lot that we have to pick up. But as far as like just us, you know, who's out here playing now, you know, we got to play together. You know, play for each other. You know, make the extra pass, and not just going out there to being selfish. You know, it got to be a team effort. You know, each game. You know, we don't have 2 superstars in Bron and AD. You know, everything else now has to be a team effort.
We just have to figure out just our new style of play. Really, I think that's a big thing for us. One, we're undersized right now. You know, we have bodies out, and then on top of that, you know, like I said, you know, kind of switching that mental and then switching our offensive profile a little bit would really help too. You know, this team was constructed for playing off of LeBron and Anthony Davis. So, you know, for us, you know, we got to switch the script and, you know, shoot more threes and get up and down more and have more pace and play together. You know, that's the challenge that we have right now.
Lakers struggling on both sides of the ball without their stars. And guys, listen, it's a difficult situation adapting without the 2 guys that you have built this team around. The pieces all fit, and then you lose those 2 guys, and you have to learn how to retool. But the reality is you have to find a way to win games, BT. What's the best way to do that for this team right now?
No, they have to still compete, play hard, and limit their turnovers. And if they do that, I think they can get every quarter. That way you get them a chance to have a win the game.
Yeah, BT, I was kind of down on the Laker interior defense last night. I mean, you're allowing the front court of the Pelicans to shoot 73%. The three starters there, and you just can't do that. Yeah, AD's out, one of the best defensive players in the games. Yeah, LeBron out. He has discovered the defensive fountain of youth in the last couple of seasons, but you still got to keep playing defense, keep trying to keep guys out. I know you're starting Kaycock at center for the first time ever in his career. It's a lot to ask of basically a two-way player, but that defense just needs some sharpening.
Brez, how important is it for this team to kind of stay mentally locked in, kind of level-headed? I mean, when you're struggling, there's always a lot of outside noise, especially with little deadline coming.
Oh, yeah. I mean, right now players they don't want to talk to reporters. You know, sorry, BT, they want nothing to do with you in the post-game Zooms, and me and Geet as well. And they're probably even having trouble with friends and family. It's just kind of like, leave us alone. They need to string together some wins. Because right now, you know, you and I have covered tons of these games, guys, where, you know, tons of these teams where over the years, just losing streaks happen. Players get irritated. They're not fun to talk to. They're not fun to hang around. It's rough for them right now. And, you know, they just got to string together one or two in a row and go from there.
Yeah, BT, I mean, mentally it's challenging. Listen, I mean, they know LeBron's not back soon, right? It's definitely going to be a few more weeks, and you're just not sure about AD. So that takes a mental toll as well.
Mm-hmm. Look, Geeter, it's okay to get frustrated because that's going to happen. But then what do you do to get out of that frustration mode? Do you give up? Do you not compete? Do you not keep playing hard? I mean, there have been moments you can watch the Lakers drop their heads, and that's understandable, but pick it back up and get back out there and play as hard as you can and make the opposing team think that it's not going to be easy. We're going to give you all we have, and if that's enough, we'll win the game. If not, we can be content with playing our best basketball, trying to win a game.
All right, well, here's a look at the standings. We had just mentioned Lakers starting to drop a little bit. They've lost their third straight game since LeBron's injury, and they fell to fourth in the standings, just 2.5 games up on number 6, Portland. As you can see, the West is packed. Many fans wondering if the Lakers will make a move before the trade deadline to fill in a crucial void.
There's always, you know, types of players that can help you. But the biggest thing is we just have to get healthy, you know. So my expectation, those conversations are for the front office. You know, my expectation is, you know, we're going to win games with this group, and I believe in the group that we have. You know, so if nothing happens, you know, we're gonna win games. We'll figure out a way to win games during this stretch, and it'll benefit us during the long run. So, you know, I'm not sure if we'll see any changes or not. I would probably, most trade deadline situations, there's a lot of talks that result in nothing. And, you know, that's my expectation as a coach.
It's trade deadline season again, and I know you've been a part of a lot of groups that sort of, there's always talk around the Lakers, I guess. Are you feeling pretty secure? Does it feel different than other years? You just signed your contract, and do you feel like your role in this team is pretty defined?
Yeah, I feel like my role on this team is pretty defined, and what my coach is looking for me to do on the court. As far as teammate as well, but you know, I'm here to just do my job and do it at 100%.
Before LeBron's injury, the narrative was pretty clear that the Lakers were in pursuit of some size, some help with some rim protection. Does LBJ's injury change the Lakers' pursuit and thoughts, BT?
It's a very good question. I'm going to say it doesn't completely. Only because the Lakers still need size, and the only way they can really do it is through the buyout market. I mean, you have to remember, if you want to make a trade, the team you're going to trade with has to be willing to take back what you have to offer. And if you're the Lakers, you want to be sure that you're bringing in the right piece, and you want to also look forward to not just this season, but next season. How does that all work with the salary cap? I mean, it gets difficult to do it. I think if the Lakers do anything, it'll be in that buyout market because that's the best place for them to go. Because at some point, we do believe AD and LeBron will be back.
And that's the thing, Brez. I mean, you can't panic, but you don't have your two best players. So are you thinking, well, we got to get someone now? Or do you think they're going to come back? Who fits?
Yeah, I'm with BT. You're not going to be able to replace LeBron with anyone available in the trade market. Yeah, I think that's pretty evident. Kyle Lowry's tossed out there a lot, but they have some pretty good point players in Schroeder and LeBron when he takes over there. And you'd have to give up a 3 to get him. And by the way, the Lakers don't really have the contracts that fit up well as far as expirings and that type of thing. I'm with BT. It's all about the buyout. This is all Andre Drummond territory here. Maybe JaVale McGee as well. But it's just going to wait and see. Unless Cleveland's able to trade Drummond, which the Lakers would not be thrilled with, I'm sure.
That changes everything, right?
Changes everything. But we'll see if that happens. It's out of the Lakers' control. You
guys kind of answered this next part, but BT, with the trade deadline tomorrow and all the rumors swirling, are you still in the camp that they're waiting for the buyout market? Like that's where they're going to make the move?
I am, because that's a smart move. That's the prudent move to make. Because if you start panicking, as you just said, then next year, what happens? Or the year after that, what happens? And again, who will you get that can be as good as LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Well, no one. Unless it's Kevin Durant, and he's not coming here. Unless it's Giannis, the Greek freak, and you ain't getting him. I mean, LeBron and AD are 2 of the top 4 best players in the league. So if the Lakers was to do anything, it's along the margins. But along the margins, does that really bring you exactly the player you need? And does that change everything immediately? No, so the smart thing is to check around, make your phone calls to Toronto Raptors to see, can we get in on the Kyle Lowry trade sweepstakes? Most likely the answer was, no, you cannot. But thanks for calling. We appreciate it because the Lakers don't have any draft capital to actually offer a team like the Raptors or any other team to get a deal done.
Yeah, it's not like the Lakers have all these first-round picks laying around like other franchises do. I'm going to answer that question at the bottom of the screen right now. No, they do not need to trade for a player, but they need to obtain one. And again, the buyout market is the most reasonable. Lakers have 2 roster spots open. They did not renew Damian Jones, so they got room. It's just how they're going to get these guys.
All right, more to come on Access.
Superstars, you're down 3 starters, still no Marc Gasol. How would you assess just the last 2 games as this team has had to adjust without both LeBron James and Anthony Davis?
Keyword adjust. And it does take time. For instance, in the New Orleans game, we saw in the first quarter, we thought they were, catching on to something. But Ken, I think, looking for Wesley Matthews a little bit more and continuing to try to get, teams in foul trouble, get to the line, slow the game down a little bit, utilize the shot clock, don't make marginal passes for turnovers. There's a few things they can control that might give them a better opportunity.
Big Game, you're a Hall of Famer. You're a 3-time champion. You know how hard it is to win in this league. You understand what it's like playing for this organization, the expectations that come with it. How much right now goes to the mental side of what these guys are dealing with?
Well, you're talking about a team that just won a championship last year, added some really good players to put them in a position to get back to there. LeBron James, possibly on his way to a MVP. Things are really, going well. The bench, one of the best in the NBA. Defense, one of the best in the NBA. And then you have things that you can't control. AD goes down. That's a big part. You still got LeBron. LeBron goes down. So it's just very difficult to play and win when you don't have players. But the expectations are still there because our fans know that we'll get LeBron and AD back. We may slip a little bit in seeding, but they will still be expecting, to win. So it's a lot of pressure here in LA. Regardless of the situation, you still got to get it done.
And on the flip side, you add that to the physical side. You have to bring it mentally. You have to bring it physically. Still patient right now?
I am, because I think there's a little bit of time. You get them back in April, at the end where they still have some time to catch up if they happen to drop further than they want to. You get AD back, you get LeBron back. You still have a little bit of time before the playoffs start. So I am patient. I really believe in the effort that these guys have right now. It's hard to figure out on the fly, but I think they might catch on to something. And I think they'll surprise a few teams and win a game or two and kind of keep their status.
And speaking of that, we're loving Frank Vogel and his discipline and his desire to want to keep things as consistent as he can, so to speak. Montrez continues to come off the bench, giving guys like Devontae Cacok a shot in that starting lineup. You look at the stretch that's ahead. You've got two teams, Philly and Milwaukee, on the backside of a 4-game stretch, top in the Eastern Conference. But in the middle there, two teams that are not in the playoff race yet, Cleveland and Orlando. It's about maximizing and capitalizing.
Maximizing, knowing who you're playing. And now, without LeBron and AD, you really do have to hone in on those teams that you think you can beat. You know, Milwaukee's tough. There are teams that might be a little tough, but you still try to surprise them with the victory. But then those teams that come in that you feel like you're compatible with, you feel energy, and you do the right things, you can win. So, yeah, looking at that schedule, I'm sure they'll be looking at those two games.
Before we did this, you mentioned it. Again, things we can't control, but it may be on the horizon. Fans may be coming back soon, which we know would certainly help.
Yes, man,
right now.
We sure would.
Big game. Appreciate the time.
You got it.
Pete, back over to you.
Thank you, Allie. And big game. Ramona Shelburne of ESPN tweeting, reporting with Woj. Yeah, that's what happened the last time the Lakers and the Sixers met earlier this season. But Thursday's matchup against the Eastern Conference foe will look quite different. The big names will be sidelined, all with injuries. All three All-Stars averaging 20-plus points and hitting over 50% from the field. Embiid, LeBron, AD out. So a much different game this time around. Another challenge for the Lakers without AD and LeBron. Brez, what are you looking for from this team?
I think the Lakers just have to play better interior defense. You know, we talked about it earlier in the show, and you just can't allow the front courts of the guys you're playing to just kind of dance through the paint unencumbered, because it definitely happened a lot against New Orleans. You're talking about some pretty dynamic players. I mean, Brandon Ingram and Zion. I mean, those guys are really good up-and-coming players. Tough to stop. Aquaman, Steve Adams there, and they got to be better against Philly. The problem is, Philly's without their one guy, Lakers without their two. Philly still has two really good players. I mean, Ben Simmons, obviously. And Tobias Harris, he's not quite the top 20 of NBA players.
But he's right there.
He's in that 21 to 40 range for sure. Lakers got a lot of work to do against a very good team.
Yeah, you kind of led me to my question for BT. I mean, no Embiid, but they're still 6-1. They still have an all-star and an all-star type player
just last night
in Tobias Harris, and they've been impressive without him.
Look, they've been great without him. And as Brad says, Tobias Harris is a very, very good player. He's solid. He's not quite an all-star, but I watched him play with the Clippers, and I had no idea he was just that good. One thing he does better than most players, he gets to his spot. And on that last shot he hit over Caruso, it was because he got to the spot he likes to shoot the ball at, which is going left and putting up for a shot or getting all the way to the rim. Tobias has skills, and you have someone like Ben Simmons, who is a really good all-around player. He can't shoot. He shoots as well as Brad shoots. Horrible. But
I'd like to be an all-star like that.
He can play a lot better than Mike Bresnahan could ever think of playing. So it's going to be tough tomorrow for the Lakers. But I'll say this again. The Lakers have to compete and compete on every single play.
Yeah, but how's Ben Simmons on TV, BT?
Well, he's not as good as you and I.
By the way, one thing I never thought would happen. Your hoops game got compared to Ben Simmons. Congratulations.
That's a win for me. I'll take it.
The guy's one of the best players. Buyout trade deadline edition. The trade deadline is Thursday.
Noon Pacific.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
March 25th, 12 p.m.
Yeah.
You're a GM right now. I'm asking you these questions as a GM. Here we go. You agree with it? You give it a 10. You know how it works, right?
Sure.
Kyle Lowry is the best trade option for the Lakers. What the numbers is, Brez?
I'm going to give this a 4. Love his game. He's having a very good season. It's just, he makes a lot of money. He makes $30.5 million. That's going to take a lot of Lakers salaries to add up to that. And, you know, I just don't see it happening. Plus, by the way, the Lakers have a point forward in LeBron and a very good point guard in Schroeder. Caruso coming off the bench. I don't think that this is the position they need to fill. I'm thinking more of a big man and a shooting guard, small forward, someone who can hit some threes.
What the numbers is, BT, Kyle Lowry is the best trade option for the Lakers.
I'll say it this way. If they could get the deal done, it's an 8. Because you have an all-star in Kyle Lowry, who won an NBA championship.
Oh, he's good.
You have LeBron James, and you have AD. But in reality, the chances of getting this done are probably a 2. So I
give
would
us two
put it
numbers.
as a total, because there's two ways to answer the question, Mike Bresnahan. I'm a smart guy that went to San Diego State. So let's just go with a 3 because most likely it's not going to happen. But if you have a chance to get Kyle Lowry, you got to get him, Mike Bresnahan.
Man, you confused me. Went from an 8 to a 2 to a 3.
Hey, I went to a state school.
I know. And they got bounced. All right, LaMarcus Aldridge is the best fit. If he's bought out by the Spurs, he's the best fit, Brett.
This is a 2. He's kind of getting a little old this season. It's the first time where his stats have kind of decreased a little bit. The reports do have him going to Miami, so I'm not sure that's going to happen for the Lakers, even if he is bought out. I like this player a year, 2, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago. Right now, I just don't love what's happened to LaMarcus this season in particular.
All right, BT, LaMarcus Aldridge, he gets bought out. He's your best option. He's the best fit. What the numbers is?
I'm going to give this a 3. Only because he has a little left in the tank. But I'm with you, Bresnahan. He's not the same player he once was. He's been injured. I don't know what his interest still really is in playing basketball. And as you said, the Miami Heat appears to be his primary destination. So if he wants to go to Miami and hang out, the Lakers, you'll be okay without him.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Got a weird feeling. I know where Brez is going with this. Andre Drummond gets bought out by the Cavs. He is the best fit.
How high can I go, realistically?
You can go to 10, Mike.
Can I go to like 17?
Nope.
20,
just 10.
26?
Just a 10.
10. I mean, this is the guy. This is the difference between having a great run and for sure getting to the finals and winning it all. If you get a guy like Andre Drummond, 2-time All-Star, continual double-double threat, good defensive player too. And you don't need to run plays for him. The one thing he does not give you, not much outside touch. You don't want him shooting behind the arc or even some long 2-point shots.
What about free throws? 49%?
Yeah, that's a little bit of an issue too. That's a little bit of a problem. But everything else is great. This guy's a 10.
Okay. Andre Drummond, best fit.
Is a 10. Mike Bresnahan
There you
got
go.
something right for a
You
10.
guys
finally
are
have
on the
quorum.
same page. Look
Finally.
at you, GM Brez and GM BT get along.
No, we don't. If there's one issue you have with him, it is small. He's not a true rim protector, but he's wide and he's solid. So could you imagine having AD, LeBron, and Drummond? Would you want to drive down the lane?
No,
You saw those
sir.
guys? You would not. And the one thing you will always know is that he can score the basketball and get rebounds.
Okay.
So I give that a 10.
All right, here we go. Last one. The Lakers have to make a move. They have to make a move, Brett.
Doesn't matter if it's trade or buyout. This is a 9. Yeah, they got the 2 empty roster spots. I do think, and they know this too. They want to fill those spots. I don't think it'll happen via trade as likely as it will via buyout.
All right, Lakers have to make a move, BT.
It's a 10 because this team right now can't really compete and win a championship. But if it's a buyout market like Bresnahan said, and this is Andre Drummond, I think that gives them a better chance. So it is a 10.